Hey everyone, and welcome back to Holy Terrors and another episode of The Confessional. We are back. It's been a while since we've done one of these. We took a little week off last week because life. But we are back, and we're back at The Confessional, and hey, we have a new segment that we're going to start off with now. This is called
Have you heard the news?
Have you heard the good news?
The good news. I fucked it up.
Yeah,
already.
It's like, just imagine a couple of people coming up to your door, knocking and saying, "Hi, have you heard the good news?" But not like that. This is actually real good news that we feel is worth talking about and worth sharing. Stuff happening usually in the horror sphere, I think. And this all came out of the last episode of The Confessional where we talked about the devils being restored.
Devils. Yeah.
What awesome news that is. Very excited. And that it was like the hottest ticket at Cannes Film Festival. And people were saying it was the best film at Cannes this year. So, wow. Which is something that's really exciting. And I can't wait to finally see that fully restored version of The Devils. But we've got other good news today, and I'm going to pass it over to Pat. What's your good news that you want to share with the people?
Well, speaking of restorations, Brian, we're getting it. We are getting it. The uncut version of The Horror of Dracula from Hammer.
I can't believe that either.
What is happening? I feel like they found a warehouse and are just finding cool shit.
I know. And like the same day they said they're releasing the restored version of Cannibal Holocaust. It's just like, it's all happening.
The Cannibal Holocaust thing, I'm like, what didn't we see?
Right, no doubt. Leave it Horror of Dracula. So this was kind of embarrassing. I read the write-up in Bloody Disgusting, and there was this quote at the beginning that talked about this version of Dracula is one of the best of the unkillable myth. It was said much more eloquently, and I thought, oh, that's a really good quote. And then I read what came after, and it said, wrote Brian Kuiper for Bloody Disgusting in 2023. And I was like, well, that's embarrassing. I didn't recognize my own quote. But thanks to John Squires for writing that in there. But this is really cool. But it's that write-up said that it's like during the death scene, and then there's some other gore and maybe sexual elements, about 3 minutes being added back into the movie.
Okay. I didn't even know that it was that heavily censored, but
yeah, I mean, apparently this version had only ever been released in Japan in 1958 or whatever. So if you were in Japan in 1958, you're the one who saw it. But otherwise, no American or British prints have included these sections of the film. So
fantastic news.
It is. I mean, and a few years ago they did Curse of Frankenstein, and they put back in the close-up of the eyeball. Which is pretty cool. Yeah. So I love that Hammer. We're still able to find things from things that are around that long. Yeah. It's amazing.
I remember actually sitting on this, like, not on this panel, watching this panel with Frank Henenlotter and her name's escaping me now, but the the couple that ran for years Something Weird Video.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So it was the lady who's, I'm so sorry, I'm forgetting her name now, but they're talking about discovering like forgotten films and just these like catacomb-like warehouses in the Never region of New York City, and just finding these film reels of movies that were long thought lost. It sounds like such a fun life.
It's incredible, some of the things that have shown up just in the past, even 20 years. Because like we thought, we found as much of Metropolis as we will ever find, for example. And then in Argentina somewhere, there's a 16 millimeter print that has all this footage that was never seen before. There's still a few shots missing, but man, one of these days I can imagine somewhere in some vault, there's maybe those last few shots. Maybe there's the 9-hour version of Greed. Maybe there's the last
I
Orson
thought you
Welles
said
shot.
Grease.
Greed. No, the magnificent Ambersons is out there somewhere, and uh, I'm still hoping that London After Midnight is going to crop up someplace.
It's got to,
I
right?
mean, it's yeah. Supposedly the last copy was burned in the MGM fire in 1967. But I don't know, man. You never know. I mean, Edison's Frankenstein was found in some guy's garage.
That's what I was gonna say. Some shut in on
Yeah.
Long Island is
Yeah.
gonna croak, and then they're gonna find that, you know, underneath their rotting carcass. Oh wow, it's got
Oh
weird.
God.
It's a film
Things got
canister.
dark.
Yeah.
Things got weird. Um it-
Yeah.
but yeah, that is great news. I'm really excited about that. And I hear that is also getting a theatrical release.
Oh, mwah.
Which is really exciting. I'd
Yeah.
love to see that. Again, I think it's in October. So October, as usual for horror fans, busy month. But that's okay. That's
Yeah.
okay. It's
What
what we
about you?
sign
What's
on
your good
for.
news?
My good news is that John Boorman and the Devil, the making of
Mhm.
Heretic Exorcist 2, has been purchased, has been picked up by Yellow Veil Pictures. I'm very excited to see this. I wasn't sure I'd ever get to see it because it did really well at all these film festivals. People just have adored it. I've heard lots of people say how much they like this documentary.
Yeah.
And I'm dying to actually see it. And I can't wait. It's probably, I don't know if it'll end up on Shudder or where, but I'm stoked. I would even, if it is just becomes, like an extra feature on on a copy of Exorcist 2 The Heretic, I
You
may
don't own the
even
Scream Factory
I don't.
release?
I do not.
I'm
um
sorry, wait a second. You own wait, what was it on Blu-ray that I was amazed that you own? You own the late great Planet Earth on Blu-ray, but you don't have.
I do. This was like $8 on Kino sale. I mean, come
That's
on.
true. That's true.
Yeah.
I
Um
almost bought Birdemic the other day because it was like $10 secondhand, and then I was like, nah, I could easily do anything with that $10.
it's true. It's true. So anyway, I think that's exciting news, and I don't know. It will probably make me want to reevaluate the film, which I'm sure we'll talk about at some point.
It's actually a really good film, Brian. Didn't you know? You ignorant
Well,
boob.
yeah, Exorcist 2 is good, actually. Well, actually, Martin Scorsese apparently prefers Exorcist 2 to William Friedkin's The Exorcist.
Wait, 3, right? Or prefers it
No,
to. Oh,
he
we
pref- Martin Scorsese prefers John Borman's The Heretic, Exorcist 2.
he's just being difficult.
He is. That's
He's
that's
just being difficult.
contrarian to the
Yeah,
max right there. But yeah, it's just fascinating. He's the guy that liked that movie, I think. But there are people. It has its defenders.
I
I'll
guess we're all
give it
catching
that.
up now, finally.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, he's ahead of the curve. He's like one of those people who said, "I saw Halloween 3 when it first came out and thought it was great." You know, that kind of thing.
It's almost as if film is very much in the same vein as fine art, whereas if you can bullshit really well, you can make something seem like it's actually,
Yeah.
relevant and a
Yeah.
good piece of art.
Or perhaps film is indeed subjective.
Maybe it's
Uh,
just subjective.
it
Maybe none of this
could
matters.
it could be. Speaking of film, what have we been watching? So I've got 3, you've got 3, then we probably have a quick rundown because there are a
Yeah.
couple I wanna mention quickly that are not horror films, but my I have horror films on the plate for the big 3.
Yeah.
So do you wanna go first?
Sure.
Yeah.
I watched, let me get my notepad out. 1967's Spider Baby, Jack Hill's debut
Excellent.
picture.
And
I
what a picture.
It's so good. I'm glad I finally watched this. I actually
Mhm,
became aware of the film because of the soundtrack first.
mhm.
The 'Cause Waxworks Records had this series called Rob Zombie Presents that I
Yeah.
hope will continue eventually. They put out 5 albums. The first was White Zombie,
Mhm.
and the second was Spider Baby.
Yeah.
So all I knew about this movie was that Lon Chaney Jr. sang the opening song
Yeah.
and that it had a pretty sick
He most
score.
certainly
He
does.
most
Yeah.
certainly does.
Yeah.
So finally I watched it on it's still streaming, I think, on Arrow
Mhm.
Video's platform, and
Yeah.
it's so fun. It's this perfect kind of blend of comedy and like camp. It's also got, like, you can kinda see a little bit of its influence in some certain significant horror films from the '70s. It's got a Southern Gothic
Indeed, you
vibe,
can. Mhm.
and it definitely I'm like, "Toby Hooper must have seen this."
Oh, there's no doubt.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
can't imagine he didn't.
Yeah, you can see its fingerprints a little bit on
Mhm.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre,
Yeah,
and, I gotta say Lon Chaney Jr.'s performance is really charming.
it's great.
And that, the toys monologue he does
Yeah,
is from what I understand, he got a standing ovation after they wrapped on that shot,
yeah.
and, he deserved it. It was nice to see, like, he looks so ravaged by that
He
point
does.
by his
Yeah,
alcoholism.
yeah.
Um, so, like, that Elder Kane quote about Joe Spinell, the
Mhm.
poetry in his eyes.
Yeah.
That's what it seems like with like every shot of Cheney Jr.
I first heard about this because I was watching, I'm pretty sure it was the Universal, just like the collector's editions of their legacy editions of the classic monsters, and they have little biographies on some of them. There's one on Boris Karloff, there's one on Bela Lugosi, and there's one on Lon Chaney Jr.
Hmm.
And the historian that they interviewed said, Spider Baby is Lon Chaney Jr.'s Targets. And I thought,
Wow.
that hooked me because I love
Yeah.
Targets. I mean, Boris Karloff is probably still my favorite actor. I've seen bad Boris Karloff movies, but I've never seen a bad Boris Karloff performance.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way. And so that really piqued my interest. I was like, I'm curious about this. And then don't know how I saw it even, but it's so bizarre. It was kinda hard to find, as I recall. I had to
Hmm.
seek it out a little bit. Now Arrow has a beautiful Blu-ray of it.
Yep.
I, own that. Highly recommend that if you love this movie. And, he's right. It's sort of that late era performance that sort of manages to somehow define their entire career.
Yeah.
It's beautifully done. And, Sid Haig
Oh man,
in his
he's
first role
he's so
is so
funny.
great, and you can see most certainly that Rob Zombie was influenced by this movie.
Oh yeah, House of a
Yeah,
Thousand Corpses
mhm,
feels, yeah, yeah.
very much so. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Spider Baby. I wrote about it on Bloody Disgusting,
Oh
last year,
yeah.
and it's, yeah, terrific.
Yep.
Really great film.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm kinda gonna be the new releases guy
Yeah.
this time around. This is going back, I mean, obviously, this is sort of the big success story of the year in horror, and that is, Curry Barker's Obsession. The first week, it did okay. Second week, it made, like, 30% more than the first week,
Wow.
just purely on word of mouth. The discourse has been discoursing,
Mm.
as ever, and I liked it. I think it's good.
Mhm.
I am not losing my mind over this. I think it's a really solid movie all across. Like, it's a good script. It's well directed, well acted, especially by Inda Navarrete, who plays Nikki. She is spectacular. I mean, we're talking Tony Collette in Hereditary levels of performance here.
Damn.
It's really great. She is the best thing in the movie,
Mhm.
frankly. She's spectacular. However, I think I'm not ready to say let's just give the keys to the kingdom to the kid, you know?
Yeah.
That's kind of what has been happening. And I'm a little worried that is going to be sort of, like Eli Roth in the 90s,
Yeah.
where you had this big burst onto the scene and then it all went to the guy's head and he just kind of, I don't know, believed his own press and kind of got fucked up by it. I really don't want that to happen to Curry Barker because I think he's a really talented filmmaker.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Milk and Cereal. I've heard good things.
It's I've seen his shorts and I
Yeah,
they're good, they're if you watch a lot of kind of
yeah,
short film horror shorts on YouTube and
sure.
stuff, it's definitely you see kind of the spark. It's not just
Yeah,
someone filming an elaborate scare that works. Like he definitely knows how to tell a
sure.
story. But I do
Yeah,
think like the quote about the Texas Chainsaw Massacre still rattles in my head
yeah,
about the idea that what was it? That it
is
was
good
good
for
for
its
its
time.
time.
Yeah. I'm not
And
sure the whole
yeah,
context of that quote, though.
maybe it was
Yeah.
yeah,
I'm a little worried about him. I don't know how to explain it. I just feel like from what I've seen of him from quotes like that,
yeah.
that this could be a problem for him. Um, I hope not. I'm not ready to compare him to Ari Aster and David Eggers, though. A lot of
Yeah.
people are like, "Oh yeah, he's the new thing.
Can we
He's
get a
this guy."
second picture first? Like
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly. And so I think that this is a really solid movie. It's the monkey's paw.
yeah,
All in all, that's what it is. The be careful what you wish for, but it does delve into, things like female autonomy. And I think one of the things that is really effective because Indy Navarrete is so good, she's able to play that this isn't really Nikki
mhm,
that is obsessed with him. And one of the things that's bothered me about this movie a bit is the discourse is very much like if you don't think on a cert of this one particular way, you are wrong.
yeah.
And
That doesn't sound like the horror
I
discourse ever.
no, I really resist that. I mean, it makes me want to, even if I agree with that take, to say, I'm sorry, you're wrong.
Yeah,
you know, because it just pisses me off so much. It's like a movie needs to be able to have room for people to breathe and to interpret. And frankly, if there's only one interpretation, it's not a very good movie.
yeah.
And this movie's better than that.
That's a
So
really good point.
give it space to have those multiple interpretations, please. I think that's something that's worth bringing out. So
Yeah.
anyway, so I think Obsession is a really solid film. Um, and I know people are kind of losing their shit over it, and I haven't, but I think it's worth seeing very much so. I mean, there are a couple of complaints that I personally had. One of them was I would love it if they lit movies
Yeah,
again. That would be great,
yeah.
so you can actually see things. And the other thing is the score is so intrusive.
Uh,
I haven't heard anyone talking about that. I just found the score to be so distracting and it just wasn't subtle at all.
mm,
So anyway, I'm hesitant to give it just full throated praise because I think it's getting plenty of that. And I think it's sort of like, okay, I want to see what else that
He's
Curry
capable
Barker's
of.
gonna do, you know?
Yeah.
I am interested in seeing what he does with Chainsaw. I mean, who isn't, I think, but wait in
I'm just
line, buddy,
nervous.
for
Yeah.
Nightmare on Elm Street and
Yeah.
everything else that because I mean, there's like 20 people that want to take a whack at Nightmare on Elm Street. I mean, Mike Flanagan says he wants to do Nightmare on Elm Street.
Who wouldn't?
So and yeah, or Elijah Wood and his partner at Spectre Vision
Oh,
talked
yeah,
about it
yeah, yeah.
too, which I thought, Spectre Vision version of Elm Street, that might be really
That might be
interesting.
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. And hey, we're getting A24's Friday the 13th, so we'll see
I
which
don't
is just
know.
crazy. Isn't that wild? I
It's
mean,
it's yeah, not very unexpected. I
yeah,
should specify it wasn't so much the like it's good for its time thing. It was the other quote about basically what was missing is like, where's the heart?
where's the
I
heart?
don't care about these characters, and I just was like, I think you're
If
missing
you,
the point.
yeah, and
I don't watch a
also,
chainsaw movie to feel to I'm it's like I'm not expecting it to be a Mike Flanagan film, you know?
well, no, I mean, and the first chainsaw, I mean, the first chainsaw is all about chaos.
Yeah.
Anyway, I mean, it's all about, a bunch of hippies who are awful and annoying who kind of get what's coming to them. I mean,
Fuck
right?
them hippies.
I mean, I think there is a lot of the 60s didn't work in that movie, and it's
Oh,
very
yeah.
angry. Yeah, so anyway,
I
Texas
think
Chainsaw is a whole other story, but
a great
yeah,
pairing with that would be Blue Sunshine.
yeah.
I wrote a piece years ago for, Certified Forgotten about
Oh, I love
that
that.
movie being kind of a, you know, reflection of the failures of the hippie movement and stuff. I felt
Yeah,
rereading it recently, I'm still really proud of it, but I feel like I'm like, I don't know, some
yeah. I
neocon or something.
it's it's tough to go back and read your old work, It's like I don't it's not something I
But
do
I
very
stick
often.
by it. Fuck them hippies. So
Yeah.
so another thing I watched, a more recent thing, also on Arrow, which I gotta say, I've switched my subscription from Shudder to Arrow because
Mhm.
I just find there's so much more just stuff I wouldn't see otherwise. Like it's a
Yeah,
really unique streaming platform
yeah.
and some of the stuff they grab that's not necessarily releases that they put out on
Mhm.
their label is really cool. One of them is this South Korean horror film from 2024 called Noise
Okay.
that was
Mhm.
pretty decent. It's basically like this young woman's sister who lives in this like apartment building that's kind of uh falling apart, to be honest with you. She goes missing, and the sister who has like a hearing disability
Mhm.
um goes and investigates where her sister, that kind of trope, like where's my
Yeah.
sister, that kind of thing, and finds out that her sister's been like hearing things in the apartment, like hearing noises from upstairs, and that there's like, well, I don't want to ruin anything. The majority of the movie revolves around the idea of living on top of each other and what it's like when um our lives bleed together in
Yeah.
that kind of setting, and then also
I
the
love
kind
that. Yeah.
the yeah, and like the kind of the economic reality of like what it's like to it kind of similar to like His House, where it's like you're plopped in a haunted setting, but because of your like socioeconomic status, you cannot get out. Like you,
Yeah.
yeah, it was interesting. It doesn't quite stick the ending. The third
Mhm.
act goes a little like it gets a little predictable, which I find is
Yeah.
very prevalent in a lot of recent um Korean horror films. There's a weird kind of formula there, and
Yeah.
so it's a little disappointing in that sense, but everything else is pretty cool, and I would definitely suggest giving it a watch on Arrow.
All right, sounds good. So, tucked between the films by our new young bucks,
Spoiler alert.
Obsession on one side and Backrooms on the other, comes Andre, how do you say, is it Ovredal? I don't
I
know how
for
to say the little O with the slash through it.
Oikenthor no, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. If someone can enlighten me, that would be great. But um Andre Overdal's Passenger,
Mm.
which I did not have high expectations for this really at all. Maybe that was good because I went in and it starts with essentially a great, scary short film,
Mhm.
you know, and it has a great sort of jump at the end of it. I mean, a little bit predictable, maybe, but okay, you know, and then it goes on into this completely other place, but it manages to bring these two elements together in the middle, and it's really done pretty well. But I think a couple weeks ago I said that I wasn't quite on the wavelength for some reason of what Damien McCaffrey, who did Oddity and
Mhm.
Hokum. I don't know why. For some reason, I'm like right on Overdall's wavelength. Because I like Last Voyage of the Demeter. No one liked that movie. I thought it was great.
I
I I didn't like the bookends very much,
yeah.
but I liked the central part of the movie. And then, of course, the Autopsy of Jane Doe
Oh,
is I think is
that's
pretty universally, you
I
know,
think that's a modern
beloved.
classic.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
Now, there's nothing about this movie that is um it's not incredibly innovative, or it's not, it's just a good scary movie, I thought.
Yeah.
And the sequence where I figured it out was like, okay, I know what he's doing here. And that is, he essentially remakes the night walk scene from Cat People from
Oh,
1942.
cool.
So there's this part where the lead it's a guy and a gal. They're traveling in a van. They're
Yeah.
living in a van. So they're going for this whole van life thing, driving across the US, you know, nomadic life.
Yeah.
Okay. So Lou LaBelle plays Maddie, and she's walking in this parking lot. It's like a 24-hour fitness kind of place. And she hears these footsteps behind her. She looks around, nothing there. And then she keeps walking. Then all of a sudden, you hear it first, and then a garbage truck goes by, just like the bus in Cat People.
Mhm.
But it's in the middle of the scene instead of the end.
Mm.
And it's just the way he does this, though. And she keeps walking towards the van, and then she hears the noise. She looks around. The camera kind of follows her eyes, and it pans back. The van has moved.
Uh,
And I don't know. It's just like, okay, I see what he's doing. He's doing the night walk from Cat People, and I think it's working on me the way that that scene worked on people in 1942.
okay.
And he does it more like a one shot thing, which is really cool. There's another scene where they're in the woods and they're watching Roman Holiday on a projector
Mhm.
and like a screen, and his face presses into the screen.
Oh, that's
And then they're
very
and they're using the projector to like try and find who it is.
yeah.
And so it's like Gregory Peck's face is in the woods and stuff. Pretty clever, and pretty effective. The ending kind of blows. It does not stick the landing. The design of the passenger is not particularly memorable,
Mhm.
but it doesn't really need to be. You actually see him for a grand total of, I don't know, 30 seconds.
Okay.
It's all about what's lurking in the dark. And I like a movie
Oh,
like
that's
that.
cool. Kind of,
Yeah.
what was the podcasting one?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, the undertone,
Undertone,
exactly.
yeah.
And I don't know. I think this movie is okay. I was sort of formulating this in my mind, and I don't know if it's going to be true or not. Obsession feels like it's going to be this year's Longlegs or Weapons, where it gets all of this hype at the beginning, and then people actually see it and go, "That wasn't all that,"
Mhm.
you know. And then this feels like this year's Him, where 10 years from now, people are going to say it's great.
Oh, here we go.
They're going to say it's a good, entertaining movie. Is it a great film? No, it's
Mhm.
not. It's not. I'm not going to claim that, but I am going to say it's a fun film. And to have a good, fun horror movie, sign me up right now because I'm kind of over our trauma porn era, and we're
Yeah,
just keep doing it, and we keep doing it. And so this and Whistle, I'll mention Whistle, were just like super fun horror movies. You
yeah.
know, they're not needing to be anything particularly deep. Whistle was fun because it was sort of like Final Destination-ish, except you actually confront your death,
I
which I
thought that
thought
was
was
very
pretty clever.
novel and clever,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So I liked Whistle as well. So it's a little shout out to Whistle, which I caught up with. But we talked about that one elsewhere.
The rock of faith has felt more like sand shifting beneath my feet. On the one hand, I have always been told that doubting is not a sin. On the other, I fear that I have violated the scripture. I have done worse. I have done neither. But now, I feel that I need to come clean. The impetus for all of this is a work of art, a piece of film so profound that I am not reluctant to call it a masterpiece. Mike Flanagan's Midnight Mass. Read Angels of Light, Hypocrites, Prophets, and Prodigals at the Midnight Mass, written by Holy Terror's co-host Brian Kuiper, an essay that filmmaker Mike Flanagan called remarkable, profound, and moving, a terrific piece. Available on Manor Vellum at manorvellum.com. That's MANORVELLUM.com. On Manor Vellum, you'll also discover Kuiper's ongoing series, Faces of Frankenstein, where he examines film adaptations of Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, both direct and indirect versions throughout history. While you're there, check out Holy Terror's co-host Pat Brennan's series, Voices from the Twilight Zone, covering Rod Serling's timeless creation in its multiple incarnations. And if you enjoy reading Manor Vellum, then you'll enjoy reading Manor's A State of Fright each month, where you'll discover true fears, read new exclusive horror fiction, and get Manor's monthly calendar sent directly to your email inbox. Subscription is free at manorhq.com/EOF. That's manorhq.com/EOF. From Manor, your residence of horror.
Well, I have okay, so I cheated. Um,
Oh no.
I rewatched this week, Smile and Smile 2.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So there's this, like, overarching conversation with mainstream horror where we do this thing where it's like, um, yeah, the movie was good for a mainstream horror movie. Do you know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah.
But you
Yeah.
also you can't just give it, it's kind of what you were just saying, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But it's like
It's
you
like people hate to use the word elevated horror, but then they basically use
but
it
then they use
when they
it.
do that.
And
Yeah.
it's the elevated horror that's only worth,
Yeah.
like
A24 and Neon. Yeah.
exactly, exactly. Going back and watching these movies, I think that they're both very, like, solidly made.
Mhm.
I still think the first one is the best, even though
Sure.
I do agree that I think, like, the leaps that he made with 2 in terms of, like, technical prowess is,
Mhm.
like, it's like night and day.
Yeah.
But I still think the second one is just shallow in a way that
It
really just
is.
pisses me off, both in the subject matter and the writing. I watched it with my wife this week, and we were both like, the big reveal of the car accident, where it's basically the dialogue is just like, "Oh yeah, you think I'm crazy? Yeah, you're a crazy bitch.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm crazy," and there's no background given. There's nothing. It's just like I feel some sympathy for her, but it's like a whole movie
Yeah.
revolving around the fact of, like, it's so hard to be rich and famous.
Sure.
It's so hard, and, like, I get that she has and okay, and I get that you have
Oh,
mental health issues, but guess what? You
sure.
also have the money to get the
Mhm.
best
To get the help,
help
yeah,
money can buy, and you do have
yeah,
a support system, and I'm sorry, I just
yeah.
find it hard with it, but,
It dawns on me, Smile 2 and Whistle have the same ending.
yeah. Oh, that's the other thing. So the ending that ending, yeah, cool.
And they kinda negate everything that came before.
That's the thing that pissed me off watching it a second time. I was like,
Yeah,
"Wait, so this whole 3rd act, you just needed to get her on the stage and didn't know how to do it, so you just were like, 'Oh,
yeah,
guess what? None of this is real. Ho, ho, ho,' and then
yeah,
threw her on the stage for this shot that you wanted to do." Um, which, like, okay, you better be able to you just signed the check. I hope your ass can catch it or cash it
yeah,
with Smile 3. Because now what?
yeah,
Now Smile's a pandemic that's, like, affecting thousands and thousands of people? Anyway,
which would be fascinating
which would be
if they
fascinating.
actually did that.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, we've talked about this before, like, the Burbs episode and stuff. So many horror movies, basically in the last moments, to get a shocking ending,
Yeah.
negate everything that they tried to set up in the rest
I
of
mean,
the
even
movie.
Nightmare does it.
Yeah, I
Like, we
know.
as much
Uh,
as we
uh,
love it, it's
yeah, yeah, I know Wes Craven hated that ending.
yeah.
I mean, so he felt he owed it, uh, so
Which is
it's
so, like, it was just kind of the reason why I find it annoying, the even though I I think I gave it a higher rating, I still think that, I connected a lot with even though I'm, exhausted with the trauma porn,
yeah,
um, I connected a lot with the main character in the
yeah,
first Smile, and even though it's got pacing issues and everything, I think the final shot of that one is, like is like, it's bookended by, like, the opening scene of the first Smile is, like, just kind of like with Passenger, is
yeah,
a fantastic short film. I think it's one of the best openings of a horror movie that has, like, the last 5 years or so, like, it's
sure, yeah,
fantastic, and then the ending there is definitely some interpretations that people have had about, what it says about trauma,
yeah,
but I at the same time, like, there's a moment when she's talking to her mother where she says, "You are a monster."
mhm,
Um, and I know that, like, I felt that on a very personal level because my mother was very much like her mom, um,
mm,
in that, like, she was a very, mentally ill person
yeah,
who took out their, like, anger and stuff on me as a child,
yeah,
and I know that we're not supposed to I don't know how to say this. The mother does need to take some responsibility for their actions. Just because they
yep,
have mental health issues doesn't mean you get a blank check to be, a monster, you
sure,
know?
yeah, yeah.
Maybe this is getting too dark and too,
Too dark for our, fun little episode, yeah. But no, I get it. I saw each of them once, and I haven't particularly felt a great need to revisit them.
That's another thing actually, is that the second watch, I was seeing so many of the zippers and seams, like, they do not
Oh, yeah,
really, yeah. It's
they
so
don't
funny
hold
how
up,
I
yeah.
started this by defending mainstream horror, and meanwhile, I'm shitting on them.
You're
But,
shitting on well,
I think it's more just this, like, I don't know, the prefacing everything with, like, "Well, it's pretty good for a mainstream horror movie."
yeah, it makes you sound kinda pretentious,
Yeah.
and it's something that we have I mean, horror fans, I mean, talk about that going back to, like, the 2000s, I mean, thinking of, sort of derogatory terms like torture porn, and stuff like that, really
Yeah.
fighting against that idea, and then resisting the idea of elevated horror, even though, I mean, on some level, you get what it means, like, The Exorcist as a film is a completely different animal from from I don't know, so like thinking of things that came around the same time, like Roger Corman, New World Pictures
Yeah.
horror films coming out at the same time. They're a different thing. I mean, they really are. And I think sometimes you can say this is, as a film, as a piece of craft, at least, you could say The Exorcist is better, but it doesn't make it more worth watching necessarily, even, or worth enjoying
Yeah.
or consuming than the Roger Corman picture. I don't know
No, yeah, that makes
what I'm
sense.
trying to say, but it's something along those lines. So I can give 5 stars to, I don't know, Panic in the Year Zero.
Well, I
And
mean, it's the Roger Ebert thing about, you don't rate a ballpark hot dog on the same level as
the
you would
sim
a steak.
Yeah, it's true. I know that there was a lot of resistance, like when Get Out came out. It's not really horror. And the same thing happened when Sinners came out last year. It
Yeah.
was like, "Oh, it's not really horror." It's like, "Well, it's
It's got
got
fucking
vampires."
vampires in
I
it,
mean,
like
that's pretty horror. It's like, but they're metaphorical. Yeah, well, vampires are kinda always metaphorical.
horror is
Um
metaphorical, I'm sorry, like
Yeah, it is, it is. And, the thing is, because Nightmare on Elm Street was made for, to bring that up again, it was made for under $2 million. We don't know how much it was made for,
Mm.
because no one's really sure, for whatever reason. It's kind of interesting, but it would be a B picture,
Yeah.
by any accounts, right? However, I think the vision of it is so large, because its ambition is so high. It's given more prestige. It's seen as more sophisticated than that.
Yeah.
It's seen as more sophisticated than like, the seventh Friday the 13th movie that had come along by that point. That was just a random statement about Friday the 13th, but
Oh, so here you're railing against New Blood again. Great.
again, it's okay. The eighth Friday the 13th
Yeah,
movie. How's that?
sack shit.
That's There we go. Anyway, but those follow a certain formula, whereas Nightmare on Elm Street tried to do something different with that formula. Anyway, I
Just
think we
like
all
what
know
you
that.
like and don't
Yeah,
smell your
don't be
farts
a
about
dick
it.
about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the thing. I mean, you can like what you like or don't like what you don't like. Just don't be a jerk, I think, is what it comes down to. I
Yep.
think, for me, because I found that I used to be kind of a movie snob,
Same.
and it's so much more fun not to be, you know?
Yeah.
To not have to just have to see the highbrow stuff. When you kind of get to see everything, it's just a lot more fun.
Yeah.
Okay, so speaking, this highbrow? I don't know. I yesterday I went to the theater, the cinema,
Mm.
to see Kane Parsons' Backrooms,
Mm.
which might be my favorite horror film of the year so far.
Wow. Okay.
I like this a lot. I didn't expect to, and again, I don't know what the consensus is, and I don't really care. I am learning to be myself, and this is a movie that worked for me.
Mhm.
It genuinely gives you the creeps. It's got great vibes. It has, yeah, it feels a little bit, and I'm not saying even in look. There's something about the intangibles of it that feel somewhere in the realm of The Shining,
Okay.
or if you've watched Severance, the Apple TV series,
Okay.
it has that sort of feeling, because I mean, there's a lot of like fluorescent lighting,
Mhm.
and the rooms are all this sort of like yellow wallpaper and stuff, and things feel a little distant, a little cold. Um, and I liked that a lot. There's even a moment where it has like a needle drop on like an old timey record,
Mhm.
which felt very much, Midnight, the Moon and You, from The Shining. It's a different tune, but it was like, and someone being pushed in a wheelchair. I don't know. It all felt very, very shining, in a good way. That's complimentary. Also, there's a sequence that, not in look, but in vibe, felt like the dinner sequence of Texas Chainsaw.
Oh,
It
wow.
felt that immediate in its own way. So the idea of Backrooms is that this guy who's grieving sort of his marriage falling apart discovers in his store. He runs like a furniture store that's, you know, a not great furniture
Yeah.
shop in the 90s.
Yeah.
It's like 1990 when this is supposed to take place. And he stumbles upon this sort of portal into another world. It's like something out of that Twilighty show about that zone.
Some kind of
It,
a store.
yeah, there is a little bit of that episode of The Simpsons
Yeah.
when he puts his hand through it. But you know, he finds that it's like this endless maze of rooms
Yeah.
with just random stuff in them, and it's almost like the things that we forget about or that get demolished
Oh,
in this
cool.
world or thrown away or lost
Yeah.
kind of show up in these back rooms somewhere,
Oh,
and
that's really cool.
except they're misremembered. They're not quite what they should be. And as I was watching this, there's a element where he's going to see a psychologist who sort of takes over the back half of the movie. But it's almost like things you suppress are
Mm.
down there too. And so I thought it was just a really kind of fascinating and sort of psychologically rich film. And again, speaking of trauma, but it's there, it's in this,
It's
but
unavoidable at this point.
it's not where, yeah, it's not really where the scares come from though.
Yeah.
And the scares has just come from these unsettling moments. I mean, it's not as reliant on jump scares as either Obsession or Passenger. As a couple.
Mm.
But it's just so much of it is ambiguity. And I don't know. There were moments because I actually saw this in a fairly full theater,
Mhm.
and you could hear people just like going at different points. And it was like dread. It
Cool.
was like terror.
Yeah.
Not oh, I'm gonna jump out of my seat kind of things. It was
That
unusual.
pit of your
And
stomach feeling.
yeah,
Yeah.
and so I mean, I don't know what people were thinking of this. I really dug it. I thought it was, I mean, and the guy who made this, 19 years old. He's 20 now.
Holy shit.
Again, you know, Kane Parsons. It's a YouTube thing,
Yeah.
but it's so well thought out. Mark Duplass pops up,
Yeah.
which is fun, and I don't know what else to say about it right now. But I think it really worked for me.
I love
That's
that we're in a
what
year
it
where
comes
we
down
get
to.
Exit 8 and The Backrooms. Like, it feels like a real year, obviously, for liminal horror,
Yeah.
but quality, entries in
Yeah,
that trend.
yeah, liminal, but not necessarily
Gimmicky.
gimmicky. You know, I because Skinamarink, as effective as it was on me at the time,
Mhm.
I will probably never rewatch that movie.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's an interesting concept, and I think it's important film in a lot of ways, but it's not one that I particularly
Need to
feel the
see.
need to see again.
Yeah.
Backrooms, I would like to see, is something going to happen next with this? Is it going to go deeper?
Mm.
Is it going to go farther? There's sort of potential for more stories in this universe. And so this movie's kind of got the goods, I think. So I don't know how people are going to react to it. I think one of the things I love about it is I think there are a lot of interpretations, and I think like Kubrick movies, for example,
Mhm.
people are going to love it and people are going to hate it.
That's when you know it's good, I think.
I agree. I think that there's something to that.
Yeah.
I'm just going to leave it at that. I think
All right.
that there's a lot to that statement, though. So yeah, I'm a fan
Cool.
of Backrooms.
Do you want to do our rundowns now?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right. Mine has a bit of a theme. Um, while my family was away a few weeks ago, there was a day where I kind of just did this all day. I watched blind spots and deep
Hmm.
dives in the Stephen King universe.
Yeah,
So I watched a mixture of movies that I had never seen and shorts that I'd always been meaning to see, and just kind of located them on YouTube.
yeah.
So first one was Sometimes They Come Back, based on one of my
I
favorite.
haven't seen that one.
It's
Yeah,
it's directed by
it's a Mick Garris one,
no,
right?
that this one was, the oh, his
Oh,
the dude who did, Jason Lives.
oh,
Yeah.
oh, McLaughlin, cool.
Yeah,
Tom
yeah,
McLaughlin,
for
yeah.
TV, made for TV. It's it's pretty good. I think, it gets kinda shit on, 'cause
Hmm.
it does kind of it lost its, teeth a little bit, and it doesn't quite stick the ending, but I think it
Sure,
it really nails the vibe from the short story, and,
yeah.
I just love the concept. Um, Pet Cemetery 2.
I love that one.
It's, it
I
is
know.
just insane.
It's very Lambert, just kind of able to go off the chain and do whatever, I think,
Yeah,
in that
part of me is
universe.
like, maybe she shouldn't be off the chain. I don't know.
I know. I had low expectations seeing that, and, I ended up kinda loving it,
Well,
I'll
what's his
admit.
face, who I share a
Edward
birthday with,
Furlong.
not Edward Furlong, but the, deep voice man.
Oh, Clancy
Yeah,
Brown.
Clancy Brown is just so good.
He's he's so
He's
good.
such a piece of
Well,
shit. I love him.
one of the things I liked about the movie is that, most people, they're like good people who die and they come out of the pet cemetery and they're like scary and evil. He's the other way around.
Yeah.
I I thought that was awesome. I loved that idea.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
haven't seen it in a while. I don't know if it's a good movie, but
It's
to
certainly a
quote
fun one.
Pat, it's a great one.
Yeah.
So
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. Put that on my tombstone. It was
yeah,
definitely one of the better things I watched that day.
yeah.
Um, Next up was Mick Garris's Riding the Bullet. Um, it's
Nah,
fine.
it's a Mick Garris movie.
Yeah, there's, like,
Yeah.
stylistic choices that are made that just
Mhm.
don't work. The emotional ending was, like, kinda hit, but it just felt really like, the lead actor is a dude who primarily does, soap operas and stuff, and it
Mhm.
felt like he had the depth of, well, someone who just does soap operas,
Well,
which, there's been some good people to come out of that.
Wings Hauser.
Wings Hauser, yeah,
Yeah.
but I don't know. It was fine. Um, then I watched a pair of short films that I'd always wanted to see. The first was the original, from 1982 short of The Boogeyman.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
yeah, which is, like, real down and dirty. I think it was a dollar baby, and it just
Right.
it's, it's pretty true to the original short story, and there's something about the griminess of. I'm pretty sure it was shot on VHS, or at least it felt like that. I mean, I watched a very bad rip of it on YouTube. Um,
Yeah.
it you know, it wasn't bad. But Disciples of the Crow, which I believe predates Children of the Corn by a year, it was a very like a 10-minute short that,
Okay.
based on the Children of the Corn short story, was pretty solid, and honestly is
Yeah.
better than probably 70% of the sequels that came from that
I
series.
I really don't like Children of the Corn.
Yeah,
I remember so many people freaking out over that movie when I was a kid,
yeah.
and I saw it and I went, "This is kinda dumb." I have never responded to that movie. I've watched it a couple of times, and I just think it's not very good.
It's been a
Um,
long time since I've seen it.
yeah,
Should check it
yeah.
out.
I mean, we hell, we could cover that on this show.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be good.
I'm fine with it, but, I doubt my mind will change about it, if I'm being honest.
Mm. And then last but not least, I finished the night off with The Rage, Carrie 2.
Ah.
And I don't know, man. I read Stephen Foxworthy at his Letterboxd review was something along the lines of, does it work as a time capsule of the 90s? Kinda. Does it work as a direct sequel to the De Palma film? Not in any way, shape, or form. And it's
Yeah.
but it's very interesting in that, like, the character is not at all what I was expecting. Like, she's not passive
No.
like like Carrie in like the sissy
Right.
space of Carrie. She's very kind of a
It's
jaded,
like The Craft.
anxious, yeah, very much in the vein of The Craft.
Yeah.
Um, and the way that it is very blunt about high school misogyny and like the
Yeah.
culture of toxic masculinity and stuff, I think was pretty
Sure.
ahead of its time, to be honest with
Yeah.
you, for a movie from like 1998, I think. But it's also just like, holy fuck, there's some stylistic choices made
Indeed, there
that
are.
are, yeah, just
Yeah.
and would have dated it 2 years after it was released, and that's what I'll say.
I played the guitar for the musical version of Carrie at a college. And after our closing night, I went home because I could never sleep after playing a show and closing night. I went home and I watched The Rage Carrie 2. And I don't know, it was kind of satisfying way to end that run of things. Carrie the musical is something. All right. I have been tending to watch a lot of documentaries
Mhm,
lately. I watched Deliver Us from Evil, which is probably one of the most disturbing movies I've ever seen.
mhm,
It's about this priest who gets relocated
yeah,
around, even though it's known that he abuses children. And it is incredibly powerful, incredibly important, extremely disturbing. Also from 2006, I watched Jesus Camp. I was a little underwhelmed.
yeah,
Honestly, I think I was sort of like I was expecting it to be so freaky deaky, and I'm like, it's not that freaky deaky. Things are a lot freakier now than they were then. Um, I watched this would be a great double to go with Heretic. It's called Ruthless: Monopoly's Secret History. Um,
ugh,
really fascinating about the game Monopoly.
yeah,
And so it takes, like they talk about the landlord's game, just like Mr. Reed does in Heretic. Hey, so if you want to go back and listen to our Heretic episode and then watch Ruthless, I recommend it. There's even more like religious context you could pile into it than they even get into in the movie. It
yeah,
was pretty amazing. It's like
cool.
a PBS documentary. It
Oh,
was on
okay.
Canopy. Yeah. I watched Basket Case 1, 2, and 3 for
Woo!
reasons that we will talk about in a few minutes. I was able to see Singing in the Rain and Almost Famous on the big screen, which was really cool. I hadn't seen Almost Famous in its theatrical cut in a really long time.
Mhm,
And boy, did I miss the stuff from Untitled. I think I'm so used to the longer cut that I just assumed it was in the original cut. So it was weird seeing it that way, but it was good to see it in the theater again. Um, I watched Lars von Trier's Antichrist, and
fun.
that's all I have to say about that. Um, yeah, it's not fun. That is one of the most disturbing things I've ever seen. Um, Again, that's actually the second time I've seen it. Okay, big recommend. I Love Boosters, Boots Riley's movie, in theaters, but didn't do super well, so it's being pulled real fast. If it's still playing when this drops and you're hearing this, check it out. One of the most original movies I've ever seen. If you like Sorry to Bother You, I think you'd like this. Um, it's not at all what I expected. The trailers give you absolutely no idea what's going to happen. It's the craziness of Sorry to Bother You taken to the next level. I mean, it's
Okay.
really, really wild. Um, there's a little bit of like metaphysics and some some bizarre goings on with these machines and things. It's very inventive. Highly recommend it. It's one of those movies where people are going to see it on streaming and go, man, I wish I'd seen that in the theater.
Cool.
It's one of those. Yeah. Orwell 2+2=5 is on Hulu. Watch it. One of the best things I've seen this year. It takes elements of George Orwell's writing and narrates it and sort of gives his life story, but it's intercut with film, like movies, from versions of 1984 and other movies, and also like news footage. It goes into AI, it goes into fake news, it goes into worldwide despotism. It's an incredible movie, indescribable. I've never seen anything quite like it. I also watched Riefenstahl on Canopy, which is about Leni Riefenstahl, who was the Nazis' preferred filmmaker. She made Triumph of the Will and Olympia. And the movie basically lets her talk and then shows why she's absolutely full of shit. I mean, it's a pretty incredible movie. I was really impressed by that one as well. I also saw theatrically yesterday, I saw Repo, the Genetic Opera, which I'd never seen before. I don't know. It's okay.
Yeah.
Darren Lynn Bousman, right? Is that how you say his name?
Yeah, you got it.
Okay. He didn't have a lot of resources, but he makes it work. It's very much exploitation cheapy, but it's an opera. It's a rock opera, and it's pretty wild. Is it good? I don't know. I gave it 3.5 stars, but the more I'm with it, I'm sort of like, well, I don't know. There's nothing quite like it. I'll give it that.
Yeah.
It's sort of Rocky Horror Picture Show Mark II, I guess. That kind of vibe, I guess.
Okay.
Except with, Saw, the look of Saw, except blue instead of that sort of sickly green. That's kind of how I felt about it. I did like that there's a lot of the like outdoor sets are like anime looking drawings, which is kind of cool.
Oh, cool.
And then because they had minimal money, I mean, you could tell, I mean, this put together with duct tape and chewing gum, but I don't know. I kind of go back and forth on it from second to second. But it's worth it to see Paul Sorvino sing like full on opera, though I have a feeling his voice was dubbed. Anyway, I don't know that for sure, but anyway, that's my rundown. Definitely my top recommends of those are the Orwell one, the Riefenstahl one, and I Love Boosters. Those are the takeaways, I think.
You're a big Booster backer.
I am. I thought that was, I loved how original that was. And there's a lot of weird criticisms coming down on it by people who have obviously not seen the movie.
Weird criticisms?
Yeah, that never happens.
No.
I think they're mostly from the right, where they're just kind of saying it's promoting shoplifting and stuff. It really is not. That's not what it's going for at all. It's something else, but it's really a very unique movie. Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, so what we have coming up. First of all, hey, we were on an episode of Cult Movies podcast with Anthony King, and we talked. What did we talk about, Pat?
We talked about the Frank Henenlotter, 1982, I think, classic exploitation film. basket case.
Yeah.
I love it so much.
Yeah,
And,
so we'll be sharing that on our socials.
yeah.
That was a lot of fun. We had a great conversation there. And hey, sounded like they wanted to have us back. So hopefully we'll be able to do that again.
It was an
'cause that was
honor.
great.
They're good lads.
They are. For sure. And then here on this show, next week, we are, this month is going to be pretty packed. We have 3 discussion episodes. So instead of just 2 this month. The first one is with Matt Rogerson. We talked about Don't Torture a Duckling, Lucio Fulci's brilliant giallo from 1972. And then we talked with Stephen Foxworthy about The Omen, and we talked for so long that we split it into 2 parts.
It's a twofer.
Yeah, so we are going to be presenting those the rest of the month. Omen, of course, celebrating its 50th anniversary. If you want to watch this, you can, I guess. It's it's a movie that might help you get some context. Also, this is a good book recommendation, Elaine Pagel's Revelations, and of course Matt's books on Fulci and Vatican versus horror movies are terrific, and recommend both of those. Fulci's Inferno is the name of the Fulci book. So
it's in the mail.
Yeah. It's in the mail.
To
yeah,
my
we're gonna
house.
to your house. I'm gonna hopefully get to that as well. But those episodes are really a lot of information, a lot of really good conversation. I think heavy at times. We get a little political in the Omen episode, I'll admit. So if you are not into that, sorry. But I think the movie brings it up, so we go into it a bit. Did you have anything else?
You know, life's good, man. Watch some movies. Come on.
Watch movies.
Get off your ass and watch some movies.
Or get on your ass and watch some movies.
Or do that.
One of the two. One of the two.
If we ever do a book club, I do have a book I really want to talk about that I'm reading right now. You could probably read it in one sitting. Let me see. Oh no, where did it go? We'll cut this out. I'm not wearing pants, so I don't want to get up and I guess
well now we gotta leave that in.
Yeah.
Anyway. But anyway, thank you to Manor for sponsoring us. Beginning this month, we are officially sponsored by Manor HQ, and we are appreciative of that. And
thank you, Manor.
Yeah, and you'll see and hear more from us about them. And if you're not familiar with Manor, go to manorhq.com and you can sign up for the newsletter. And it's a monthly newsletter, so there's not an inundation of your inbox, I promise. And there's some good stuff in there. There's some short form nonfiction, some short form fiction. There's usually some great artwork in there included, as well as what is on the docket for the month from Manor Vellum. So that's pretty exciting.
Something for everybody.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, well, thank you for listening or watching. If you're watching us on YouTube, you can check out our YouTube channel at Holy Terrors Podcast. And you can also find us on Instagram and Threads at Holy Terrors Podcast. Those are our primary places of communication.
As well as Sparrow.
We drop into Blue Sky from time to time. Occasionally, we'll send a carrier pigeon. Yeah.
Delicious.
I don't know. I can't.
All right, bye.
I'm rambling. Okay, thanks for listening, everyone. And we'll be back next week with Don't Torture a Duckling.
And that concludes another episode of Holy Terrors. Thank you so much for listening to our humble little podcast. If you'd like to support the show, please drop us a 5-star review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. And if you want to follow us on social media, you can find us on Instagram, Facebook, and Blue Sky by searching Holy Terrors Podcast. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.